living lesson 3, He Leads Me, prompted me to have to record a podcast, however short, because I don't believe there's one promise, principle, whatever you want to say, that I use not just at least once a day, throughout the day. And the other thing that's so amazing about this particular principle, this promise, is that it never fails. It works in everything. There are several of the principles about hearing, God's word. Your ear will hear a word behind you saying, walk this way. When you turn to the right and the left, again, that's sort of leading him. I am been blessed. My children have been blessed, but we all sort of have this way of envisioning things. We can see things that are in the future, places he's going to lead us, and inevitably, even though it looks a little different, we are able to do that. But sometimes that can be interfered with. I don't know how that happens, but it can be, which can sometimes rattle your faith. He may speak to you in different ways through scriptures or whatever, promises, and there's nothing more unnerving, unsettling, a faith breaker than to have something like that. Another gift that some families possess, like Yvonne's, is that they see dreams, not the interpretation. They see these dreams that when I hear them, I know that they are powerful, and later on they seem to make sense. So if you have something like this or whatever that could potentially unravel you, unsettle you, there is nothing more powerful than He leads me. And I am not going to read what I wrote. I'm just coming at this years later from when I first wrote this, and definitely decades ago when I learned about this principle that He leads me. But it comes from Psalm, and Psalms are one of my absolute favorite books of the Bible. There's so many I have, but really Psalms. Now Psalms, P-S-A-L-M-S in the English, actually means songs. These are songs. And that's why I love them in the King James Version, just because they're more poetic. They sound more like a song, like Psalm 23, for instance. It just sounds beautiful in that. Nevertheless, whatever version, it's powerful. It's God's Word. And just like we come in different, skin colors, tall, short, fat, thin, different eye color, hair color, everything is different. Nevertheless, we're all His creation. We all are made in the image of God, and also we are fearfully and wonderfully made. So just as each one of us, so are the different versions of the Bible. I absolutely believe it. And unless somebody comes in and really tries to change it, they're powerful. And even then, He would honor it. I just know it. But this principle of He leads me, and just taking 3 powerful words like that and incorporating them into your life, and then when people see things happening and the fruits of it starts happening, then you can share that little, it's from He leads me, it's from this, and sharing it with even young children. He leads me, and knowing that He leads me is so powerful. Even today, and it kind of is counteractive, or I don't know, there's another principle that it says, the mind of man plans his way, but God directs his steps. No, that's not a counter. That's a confirmation. So it's a confirmation, We might plan a way we're going to go. I often envision something that's going to happen. Like today, I have a lot of quite important things that have to do with the ministry that I've got to actually go, and I have an appointment with some financial things because of a mess that he creates in order to lead us through them, to move us from one area to another. And it's something to get excited about. Even going through the valley, okay, he leads us through the valley of the shadow of death. There's a purpose in it because he leads us through those things in order for us to know him, to feel comfortable in the dark, in the quiet of the dark, in the lushness of the valley. Our family lived high on a hill above a valley, but the rich soil is in the valleys, not up on the top. It's a great vantage point up there, and we all like to be on the top, but the valley holds something very beautiful. So letting him lead us and going with him, taking his hand and going there willingly and not holding back, even when you see that the path leads down. There's a beautiful book, Hind's Feet on High Places, that we recommend that really can teach you this, and it's great for children as well. But it explains some of those things in a very really interesting way. But again, he leads me. I just think if there's one that you can just take, incorporate it, and just live it all the time, rather than you figuring, oh, I'll go do this, I'll go do that, I might fix this. Just ask him to lead you and acknowledge him. That's another principle, acknowledge him and he'll direct your paths. Again, acknowledging him is just saying, I know you're here. You don't have to get down on your knees. You don't have to beg. You don't have to plead. You don't have to put out a big prayer. You just acknowledge that you're not alone on this path. He's right beside you or right in front of you, depending on what you need. And he's going to lead you on that path. So I hope that you will embrace this, live it. It's a living lesson. Live this lesson. And then as you live the lesson, you're naturally going to leave the testimony following behind you that you can use to minister to others, children, grandparents, anyone, just sharing your testimony of how powerful this is, and get them hungry for God's word, for his principle, and of course for him. So thank you for listening.